G'day legends, it's the Lurker here. I hope you're all doing really well. Welcome back to the channel. For those of you who aren't already subscribers, please consider subscribing below and make sure you turn on the notification bell so you're not missing any new videos. Well, it's been a while since I've shared anything helpful on the channel, so I thought I should probably do that. So I thought I'd share the story of how I quit smoking. That's right, I have quit smoking. I have not had a cigarette since the 1st of March 2018. So roughly 11 months. Smoking is an incredibly hard to break addiction and takes the lives of millions every year. So the method I used to stop smoking was vaping. Vaping I found was a really good substitute for smoking and kept the physiological habit well in check. I also found with the nicotine juice, it kept the cravings in check and kept my mood pretty good, so I wasn't lashing out at anyone, which is a great thing for everyone. Now some people will say, but isn't vaping bad for you? Well, the answer is, who knows? We're not sure yet. But I'm willing to take that risk because it can't be any worse for me than smoking. It certainly has a hell of a lot less chemicals, and it's also, in Australia anyway, a hell of a lot cheaper. I also feel like I'm breathing a lot better, and also just feeling better in my general well-being. I also have my taste of food back, which is really good because I am a massive foodie. There's also the argument of we don't know enough about it yet, which is very true. But my argument to that is, I'm pretty sure if smoking started at the same time as vaping, and we had the science we have today when smoking first came out, it would have been pretty quick to figure out it's not very good to us. Simple tests show that. However, there's nothing conclusive to show vaping is bad for us. They come out with arguments like, but you can get formaldehyde poisoning. Which is true, the elements can produce, or the coils can produce formaldehyde. Yet the problem with that is, to vape, or to have the coils that hot that they have to produce formaldehyde, you wouldn't be able to vape it anyway, it would burn your throat. So I completely disagree with those arguments in general. Now back to how I quit smoking using vaping. Well, I always said since I started smoking that I would quit either when my first child was born or when I turned 30. Unfortunately, turning 30 arrived first, so I had to create a plan of attack to quit smoking. Ever since I'd seen The Tourist, I'd always been interested in vaping and thought it was a really, really close thing to smoking and probably my best chance at quitting. I'd tried just about everything else. I'd tried Champix, I'd tried patches, I'd tried gum, I'd tried cold turkey. So I decided I wanted to do something special for my 30th birthday, so I booked a trip to Hawaii. My thinking behind this was, 1, I'll be in a nice, peaceful, relaxing environment, which I highly recommend. That was really important in the first couple of weeks, I'll tell you that. Then I also thought that not only can I get the vape over there, I can also get the nicotine juice. So it would be good to get a start over there. Anyway, I'd been in Hawaii for a couple of days and I met a girl that I was sort of hooking up with, whatever you want to call it. After a few days, she told me she didn't like smoking. So I decided I'd try vaping that night and not have a cigarette. So the first vape that I got was the X-Priv, which looks like this. I do think the X-Priv is a really good starting vape and one that I would highly recommend. So the girl comes over, I've still got about half a pack of smokes left. I decide I'm going to try vaping for that night and just see how I go. Anyway, the night goes on, I don't have a cigarette, so I think this is going really well, I'll keep trying to go and pursue this for the next couple of days, which I did, no problems at all, and from there I felt really strong and knew I could do this. That's not to say that vaping's perfect either. Some people just don't like it in general. I just happen to take a liking to it. It is also, when you start, it can be quite harsh on your throat, so I'd recommend having water with you or some chewing gum, and you can also cough a fair bit, but that's also to do with the quitting of the smoking. You'll notice you'll cough up a lot of black phlegm after a while. About a week or so, you'll start coughing up a lot of black phlegm. And you might feeling a bit like flu-y symptoms and things like that. But that also just has to do with quitting the smoking. So that's how I got started onto vaping. Now onto my method. I started off with 6mg juice. I would recommend probably not going much higher than that. Maybe going to 12 if you want. Some people like really high nicotine. I find it incredibly harsh on my throat. So if it was me, I wouldn't go any higher than 6mg. I was going to go 12 and got 6 by accident. I found it was fine, and I was, half a pack to a pack a day smoker. And That held my cravings at bay, no worries at all. You just might need to vape a bit more as you go. I didn't want to rush things either, because that's how I feel I'd stuffed things up in the past before, which had always led back to smoking. So I wanted to take my time and wean down gradually. So what I decided to do was reduce my nicotine strength every 3 months. So after the first 3 months I reduced it to 3 milligrams, then I found a place that did 1.5 milligrams, so after the next 3 months reduced it to 1.5 milligrams. I am still vaping currently, however I'm vaping on 0 milligrams. I don't vape very often now, it's more just when I'm in a bored situation. Some people will say, isn't this expensive to set up the vaping system? Not really. It does cost a bit, probably $200 to $300 to get everything set up originally. But then from there, especially if you're in Australia, you're saving a hell of a lot of money. I spend about $20 a week on juice, compared to what I used to spend, which was about $200 on cigarettes. I find the vape really does keep your nicotine levels in check. Even when you're reducing your nicotine strengths, it still keeps your cravings in check because you're still getting that physiological addiction fed. You also won't stink anymore and you'll smell like fruit. If you're worried about the technical side, there's plenty of good channels on YouTube that show reviews on all the different vapes, how to set them up, and how to change all your coils and everything like that. Also, if you experience any problems, you'll find they're usually quite common, and there's usually a video or two about that as well. So if you're a smoker and you haven't tried vaping, I'd definitely give it a go. It certainly worked for me. Like I said, I haven't had a cigarette for almost a year now, and that's just fantastic. I feel the benefits. I'm breathing a lot better, and I just feel better in general about my whole well-being. You'll also save a heap of cash, especially if you live in a country like Australia. Well, that just about wraps it up for this video, guys. I hope you found it helpful. If you did find it helpful, please give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, give it a thumbs down. Remember, vaping isn't for everyone. I hope you have a great night, and as always, don't be like rice gum. Cheers.